asked. I said, I wish I could have that, so I beg it. I mean, how do you know what that is? No, I simply asked. I said, I wish I could have that, so I beg it. I mean, how do you know what that is? No, I simply asked. I said, I wish I could have that, so I beg it. I mean, how do you know what that is?
Confidence trickster, noun British, a person who tricks other people in order to get their money. Con artist. Confidence trickster, noun British, a person who tricks other people in order to get their money. Con artist. Confidence trickster, noun British, a person who tricks other people. Flimflam, noun a trick or deception, especially a swindle or confidence game involving skillful persuasion or clever manipulation of the victim. A piece of nonsense. Waddle. Bosh. Flimflam, noun a trick or deception, especially a
Let me do that again. Hi, everybody. Happy December the 23rd. Thank you all for joining me here today. Let me get over to the comment section. Hi, I'm so glad you could join me. I know a lot of people are busy with it being Christmas and the holiday season, whatever holiday you celebrate. And so I decided to get off a little earlier today and just catch up with some of the things happening in the Sarasota Tim universe where I find myself, and just wanting to kind of follow up because we've had a lot going on just this weekend alone. And so we're not actually going to react to a Sarasota Tim video today. We're actually going to react to somebody different, and it's not Zachary Michael either. So somebody put a very good tip in my comment section, and I thought we would take a look at this. And obviously some of the comments that then go into this person's actual email. And then on top of it, I'm going to see if my giveaway is actually working. And then I'll say hi to everybody. It is. Okay. So everybody who is participating in the chat today is going to be able to win. I'm going to do a giveaway. There will be one winner from the giveaway. And it's up to you to then my email is listed on my about section. And if you are comfortable sending me an address, a PO address, or whatever, Miss Junebug, and wherever it is in the world, we don't care. You just let us know and we'll get it sent out. And Junebug is going to send her Christmas card to whoever is the winner of the chat today. So that is the giveaway today. Junebug's Christmas card, where Junebug met Father Christmas for the first time. So we want to wish whoever it is, since it is the week of Christmas, we want to send you some Christmas cheer, since we know that our friend Sarasota Tim seems to be missing his, and it's close to Christmas, so you might be getting it closer to the holiday. But that is today's giveaway, and it's a way just to say thank you, because the first thing I really want to do is just to thank everybody for their amazing support that I received on Friday. I'm still waiting to hear back from YouTube. Tim has sent his response in. I don't know what it says. It can take some time. And so we will be finding out today. Maybe not today, but, I don't know when it's going to come in, because I'm not a big channel like Zachary Michaels. So mine might not come in as rapidly as his response did. But it's been quite interesting since my 3 channel strikes. And I almost think that Tim was under the impression if he hit me 3 times, it would take my channel out completely. I really do believe that's what he did initially think. And so I want to thank first all 100,000 souls that are here. We have Barry Exposure. We have Grandma's Pocketbook here. We have Hammer Free Man. We have Squirrel Bait. We got Mr. Carl. Merry Christmas. We have F Mock Snicks. If I can't get the names right, I apologize, but I recognize a lot of you from the chat. And so thank you. We have Love the Cape CC. We have Miss Lee. Penny's here. Stacy's here. Iger's here. Tar Heels Forever. Just to stay down below me. We were getting a little frisky or a little bit of a snow flurry last night here in Virginia Beach. And I am putting together a little Christmas. I went to Town Center in Virginia Beach last night. So I'm filming different little things at Christmas. I'll put it out on the channel for Christmas. People may or may not take a look, but anyway, come on in, Dr. Falcon. Barbie doll is here. Mary's here. Girl's here. I'm hoping I'm getting everyone watching and judging. I know everyone. Oh, what is happening? Yeah, I believe yes. That's okay. What's happening? Because that's actually thank you. Because that's what we're going to take a look at today. Because I didn't see a lot of people in the community actually had seen this video because I didn't see a lot of us commenting on it. So that's actually what we're going to look at today, believe it or not. So you have a little bit because I don't think a lot of people have seen it. And I think we should because I think it's interesting. So I think that's what we're going to that's actually what we're going to take a look at today. So let's get over to business. So first business is that all of you, like I said, I got this giveaway going. Everybody is entered. I have 34 entries so far into the 35 entries into the giveaway. And so, like I said, you just email me your home address and wherever you are in the world, and you will get Junebug's Christmas card this year. I will not be including my home address on that. It will just say Virginia Beach. So just to give heads up. Not that Chris Google Maps doesn't want to, hey, Vicky Lynn, doesn't want to actually, make sure that I'm doxxed or anything. I have no idea. All right. So today, as you probably know, Sarasota Tim, it seemed, was feeling down in
paperwork to them
of weakness. Sorry about that. And he also decided to copyright strike Zachary Michael. And I want to thank Zach, obviously, keeps saying he's winning. Yeah, he's quite doing the opposite of winning. He keeps saying he is winning, and he is doing the opposite. Absolutely. He is. I don't know what he's winning at the moment. We'll get into his stuff in a minute. Let me keep on track. So he obviously struck me, and Zachary Michael on his Zachary Michael also channel saw that and decided to highlight my situation. And that obviously what happened here is what cut off here is the fact that I did obviously do a counter notification that I said is from I'm waiting to hear the response of YouTube's review. Somebody, I'm guessing Sarasota Tim, and if it has the sunglass emoji, we're all going to lose it. But for what I can understand, he obviously took his discontent, his Christmas cheer, his need to spread the joy of Christmas to Zachary Michael and decided that he wanted to go after, I don't think he obviously did enough of his research and just look at the one channel that Zachary Michael has, Zach has, and thought, well, he's a much smaller channel than I, because he probably only saw that the other channel has maybe 15, 16,000 subs. And so he decided he could go out and go against that channel. What he did not realize is that's like another one of Zach's, I think he's got like 2 or 3 other little tiny channels or satellite to his main Zachary Michael channel. So that is a much larger channel than Tim. So YouTube just literally reached out to Zachary Michael And I'm not going to play the video because I think a lot of you have seen it. I'm just going to scoot along a little bit here. And obviously, I'll just leave the link in the comments below and have you be able to watch that way, since that's not the video we're really going to be watching today. And so, because I think a lot of people have already seen this one. And so it just seems crazy that Tim decided to go off after this person. So here we go, that YouTube obviously reached out to Zachary Michael and about this copyright infringement. They are very familiar with Zach doing reaction videos, not dissimilar to the type of reactions that I do with Tim. And they let them know that they were not planning to remove their video at this time. And they then obviously gave me information, because when they first started to go through the situation in 2018 with other creators, I think it was probably Foodie Beauty, because I think he said Chantel, and that's somebody else who I've also done commentary on, that they had to initially give their personal information to the other creator. And obviously a lot of people don't feel comfortable doing that. And not that I feel comfortable, but it is obviously information that it really is a lot of my information that could not potentially be found out on other means. So I don't think it's like the hardest information to find. I've lived in the same place for over 20 years. So I just don't think it's a hard thing to find. But anyway, so obviously they talked about so they just got in touch, because it's obviously not Zach's first rodeo. And I think, oh, thank you. Oh, let me get this super in real fast, everybody. Thank you, Leo. Leo says, Merry Christmas, Ray. Love your work on the grifter. Timmy, you and all the truth tellers rock. Thank you. And we might have a new one to kind of add to the group, though they might just be adjacent and not realizing it. So all 143,000 souls in the chat, because Tim started off with that. That was so funny. Anyway, so he just reached out. They reached out to Zach YouTube immediately, and obviously let them know. And I know that if I even played this video, Zach is not going to copyright strike me. They're very much of the understanding. I even put my videos out as Creative Commons attributions, meaning that I'm happy for people to show my videos to promote my work, and I'm not always going to get good things said. Now, I will not be advertising Pittsburgh Chris's channel, even though he has spoken about me, and that will not be spoken about. Anyway, back to what Zach was saying. So here with YouTube, they said that obviously that it could be potential that Tim would reach out to Zach, which is never going to happen, and request the removal or to take other action. Obviously, they're not giving them any legal advice, blah, 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 because YouTube does not care to be involved in anything regarding these copyrights. They give the owners of what they, copyrighted material, if you may, an opportunity to say this material is copyrighted. But the person who does own the copyright has certain things that they have to show that they legally have put into actions to protect their copyrighted material, which we know that Tim, if you see the response that he then went on to give YouTube as to why this information should be removed, is absolutely hilarious. So Zach, if you want to say, goes on to explain everything around that. And then they talk about all the ideas of the URL, describe the work allegedly of French. So he puts the this in here, the URL, which is like, anyway. And then he says, describe the work allegedly infringed. And Tim describes it as my video, which is just awesome. And then source to the video, and they put obviously some type of ID number, type of video, internet video. Where does the content appear? Entire video. Which obviously, as we know, was not the case, because, hi, Ruben, come on in. We know that's not the case. It was not the entire video that was shown. It wasn't. It just wasn't. The entire video. he did different things. So he goes along. He's obviously having quite the laugh. And Tim is just, I mean, if anything, Tim has helped my channel out enormously because I have to, like I say, thank everybody and, Atomic Sage for all the wonderful videos. Everybody, and there's so many of you in the chat today who made such generous contributions through super chats, through the buy me a coffees. I mean, you really have made Junebug and I have one of the best Christmases and just feels so supported. And I just think there's more people realizing what Tim's up to. And there's always going to be other differing opinions, which we get to see when we take a look at this other video. So I'm thinking Zach is understanding why I talked about Tim being strike happy, because I don't even know if Tim had seen my video or what was going on when he just decided to strike Zach. I have no idea. He decided to go after Zach and he decided to go after me that night. It was like, and he went after Zach like a couple of days before he went after me, from what I'm telling from the dates that he talked about all of these events happening. And so I think he went after him a few days before. And then I think because I was probably really highlighted in Zach's video, I'm sure I irritate the bejesus out of Tim. He decided to come after me, obviously. Okay. So, that talks about all the different things that that YouTube was going to do. But I think it's just funny that I think Tim at some point, I think he signs out with a sunglass emoji, which is just so Tim. So we know it must be Tim. No. But I mean, so that's why when people were thinking it couldn't have been Tim. Oh, here's Tim's response. That it could not have been Tim striking against my channel. I want to feel that maybe somebody put a bug in his ear, maybe got him fired up about it. Or maybe has taught Tim to do this in the past and he just got strike happy, thinking, and I think he really thought he was going to get rid of my channel big time if he hit me 3 times in one night. So this is what Tim said. And date was December the 16th. So it started pretty early, but Tim had to come back pretty quick. So the individual was using my entire video, slandering my brand and my name. And I wonder if Tim has actually trademarked his name at all. Is that name trademarked, Tim, or is it still open? Question. Anyway, stopping and playing the entire video, making up untruth and doing it on a live stream, reading comments from those commenting as he slandered my name and brand all over the internet. Well, now, Tim, you're really going to get known. Because there's a lot of people that follow Zachary Michael, and not necessarily just here on this platform. He is well known on platforms like Twitch and other locations in the gaming world and so forth that you have no idea how widespread you have now put yourself out there. Then he says, my entire video is being played in the accused copyrighted video. Please remove immediately. Without any punctuation. Sarasota Tim. Sunglass emoji. It's just awesome. Just absolutely awesome. So obviously, YouTube found in Zach's favor because this is not the first rodeo. And I think he went on to explain that YouTube restored all of his content back to his channel and that he had nothing to worry about any further. And that's kind of where that has been. Now, obviously, like I said, I'm still waiting to hear back. I did something similar as to what Zach had to do initially in 2018, which was do the counter notification. So once, all of that's completed and everything, I'll get into a little bit more about that particular activity maybe. And just kind of hope that Tim, since he's already taken down some other channels, now he's going after a much bigger creator, and he's come after me too, which I'm a little tiny channel, that YouTube, I don't know how much they're going to take notice. It's hard to say. So there may be other ways that you have to. I think YouTube really wants people to take this out of the YouTube arena. And so that might be potentially something in the year 2025 to start looking at, if we can't get anything successfully done on YouTube. Because, Tim tries to, I can't believe, after I even specifically said one of the reasons why as a community we're not a fan of Tim's is how he likes to strike other channels. And lo and behold, he turned around and struck that channel that I said that. And it might have been before that even, I want to say he struck at Zach's channel before I even had released my response video about him striking channels and Zach responding to that, which potentially is why maybe he responded to that, because maybe he was going through that process and it was pretty appropriate at the time, and he just was saying mum, because YouTube creators will do things of that nature. Okay, let's look at just what Tim has coming out as material, and then we're going to take a look at this other video that I think will be quite interesting to look at in hindsight of the type of information that Tim likes to provide on his channel, if that's a word. Okay, so today, I understand Tim got some brand new, very nice running shoes that were $149.99. I think they were Clouds or something of that nature. They look a bit like Hoka's, the sort of running brand, and very expensive. And that's like that style here is very that waffle style is very popular. He got 3,500 views on this. And I understand there was a gentleman who made a donation in his Buy Me a Coffee, and it was $100. And obviously Tim has left it to someone, but when he goes to do his Honda video, he very clearly mentions the name of the person who made the donation. And he gets really shirty about it. Like, people want to give me money. They're willing to do that. And I'm very grateful of my Buy Me a Coffee money too. I just think that it's ironic, Grandma Pocketbook says, Ray, Tim has never ever used the word branding. When I filed my strike against Google Maps, I used that terminology and won. But a few days later, Tim uses that wording. Coincidence? No, not at all. We know they're talking to each other. We know that he's the one that tries to get Tim, figuring out all this stuff and, learning how to do it. I don't think without them, and obviously, I'm curious to see what Tim's response is to YouTube on mine, because I've not received any type of ever legal notification from Tim about anything about copyrighted material. And he would have had to have done that ahead of time. Like, we need to have already been started to deal with this in the court system. Nothing like that exists. So I'm curious. And then if, I'm having a feeling. Anyway, might just take a little bit longer. They said patience. Like I said, I'm a small channel. I'm not somebody like Zach who's got a YouTube like brand manager and people who are helping me along with my accounts and so forth. That doesn't happen at all. Okay, so what else has Tim been up to? So I see he bought the fire pit from Buc-ee's. I didn't realize he was actually going to purchase it, but he did. And so he's got a fire pit from Buc-ee's. This is where he goes on to the McDonald's, and I'm just going to play this part real quick. Hold on. So I wanted to go back on this part. We'll just play this part because this is where Tim starts. He obviously fulfills Blind View's prophecy that Tammy's going to be back in the picture the minute he talks about his Honda over here. Because here's the Honda after the sweet young thing. Shocker. She's back in the Honda. Clockwork, there's a cycle to Timmy. We need to do the Timmy cycle because it's like a little circular cycle of activity that happens. Okay, so let me go back just a second more. and just hear this, because this is where Timmy gets very irritated, because I guess, and we're going to bring up a comment that came into his, and I think he deleted the comment in the end. He kept it up for a little bit, and then I think he deleted the comment. I think he did. So, all right, let's take a look at this. And I see everyone. Hey, Marina, come on in. I see everyone here. Come on in. Hey, hey, Eloise. Happy Christmas in the UK. Happy Christmas. Coming in to see Tim. Tim's been shenaniganing. Striking other channels. Popping out. I would like to actually, we'll put out a poll as to how many videos will Tim put out on Christmas Day. I'm curious. So here's Tim. He's on his way to McDonald's. Let's speed him up to 1.25 because I don't want to be accused of not having transformative content. This is criticism, Tim. Had my fair use out already. So don't strike my channel. You have to privatize the other one once this one's done. So, all right. So he's on his way to the McDonald's, car wash, and the gym. You know, talks about the car, but this is the important part.
They want to do. And that's what you need to do, folks.
Okay, let me go back okay, here, let me go back a bit further. Because he starts, you know, he's obviously trying to let his followers know that whatever he wants to do, Tim, should be his business and his business. And if people want to do, you'll hear him. A lot of you probably heard him already, but we'll just hear this part. Then we're going to go to the actual big react, which could be snoozy for some people. So we'll speed them up. But some of it I think is quite interesting. And I think some of you will actually find it quite interesting. All right, take it away, Tim.
Merry Christmas. Let's buy somebody something. By the way, I want to shout out. He doesn't even, none of you do, I'm sure, even care about me mentioning, but I have to give honorable mentions to people that are generous to me. And this morning I received a very nice donation on the Buy Me a Coffee Fund from someone that's been.
Tim got $100 from the person he's about to talk about. And I want to thank again everybody who has very generously contributed to my Buy Me a Coffee. Because and you know, Tim's excited because he got $100 for Christmas.
Extremely generous to me for a long, long time. And irregardless of what people say here that's out there, people ignore all that. They do what they want to do. And that's what you need to do, folks. If you're one of those people out there that don't understand something, whether it be a Walmart oil change or why people like to give people something or do something for somebody or buy them a cup of coffee, then you know what? Just you do you. But don't worry about what other people do because it has nothing to do with you. It's not costing you anything. But honorable mentions to Mr. Joseph, who made my new shoes feel a lot better on my feet.
Mr. Joseph. I mean, Mr. Joseph has every right to give his money however he wishes. But considering what we're going to hear about these other people and Timmy's potential negligence, then I don't know if Timmy's the best person to be donating to. I mean, everyone has a right, but I feel like we've all probably donated enough to Timmy between the PPP and the EIDL here in the United States, at least. Hey, every time I play one of your videos, Timmy, you get a little bit of, you know, YouTube Premium. So there you go. Don't like you striking my channel. All right. So, Mr. Joseph. So, why then, Tim, are you putting your Buy Me a Coffee and you feel like you really have to give an honorable mention? It doesn't make sense.
This morning. Thank you so much, Joseph. Merry Christmas to you. All right, here we are in the line. And I could have used my app to see about saving for
for
something.
Hold on.
But
happy birthday, Hoban. Happy birthday. I hope you're having a lovely day in Canada. I hope it's not too cold up there. Happy birthday, and thank you for joining us. I hope you're going to be going somewhere nice for dinner or something. That's nice, a Christmas birthday. I'm sure there's a Hallmark movie about it. Happy birthday. Many happy returns. Make sure we drop some happy birthdays in the chat. Hoban has been watching my channel for a long time. So happy. All right. So Tim, let's see if he has anything else interesting to say.
What am I going to get? I guess I'll get the
Nice.
the big breakfast like I always do, or just actually I'll just get the sausage and eggs.
Is he going to pay it forward?
I'm trying to be good. I had that fruitcake this morning.
Oh, you have fruitcake. Breakfast of champions. All right, everybody. Do we think Tim is now? Some of you may know. Don't give it away. I don't know. I only know that part where he decided to say who gave him the $100 to help pay for the $149.99 running shoes that Tim has. Tim's definitely gonna have let's see if he's got a pay it forward moment.
All right, let's get on up in here. Some of these don't charge 85 cents for a senior coffee. They charge more. Hi, how are you? No app, thank you.
Good morning.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
May I please have a senior coffee with 3 cream?
3 cream.
And can I just get an order of hot cakes and scrambled eggs by itself?
You want the
No.
strawberry?
I'm so sorry. Scrambled eggs and sausage by itself.
Okay, the scrambled eggs and sausage patty?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then you said a senior coffee with 3 cream?
Senior coffee. Yes, ma'am. That's it.
Alrighty, sir. It's going to be $5.54. Thank you.
How much? Thank you.
You're welcome.
I always like to do that to them.
Okay.
Or I'll give them the credit card and say, hold this for 2 weeks until I transfer funds from out of state.
Hold on, we got a super. Thank you so much, Tim. Is this a new pair of sunglasses for Tim? I've had the same pair of sunglasses for I don't know how many years, and they're a nice pair. But the reason why is I did treat myself because it happened to come through like a bonus I got at work for participating in a health plan. And the employer was very generous here in the US. I guess they probably got a tax deduction for it. And I got $250, of which I bought myself a really nice pair of sunglasses, which I would not usually do. But because I had this little extra gift, I treated myself. Anyway. Hume, thank you so much. I'm guessing there's let me take a look over here because I think I see these better over here. Oh, is that a little cookie and a 3 and a heart? It's a little sticker. I see it's a little super sticker. It's a super sticker. Thank you so much. Thank you for that generous super sticker. I really appreciate it. We do appreciate it. And if you get a chance to hit the likes, I appreciate it because I believe it helps my stream up the algorithm. So the guess is Tim actually going to pay it forward? Because that's his big thing. Let's see. I'm on tenterhooks.
All right, which one of these cars over here is going to be? Right now, they're all not looking at each other like, oh, I'm going to be next in that line. I'm getting in front of you. Here we go. So I got a red car behind me, and I've got a white car, a Mercedes coming up, and I think he wants to fight. I think he wants to fight for the position.
Oh, here we go. Tim is
I think he
so
thinks he's
generous.
he doesn't understand
the
one, then the other, then one, then the other. I don't think he gets that program. Let's see. No, he gets it. He or she. And he's in a, whoever it is, I can't see, in a Mercedes. They're going to be the ones that get the
Mercedes?
Free breakfast. We are on breakfast, thank goodness. I did make it 20 minutes early.
Why is he picking the people in the Mercedes for the free breakfast? And why are you so excited, Tim? Because I'm about to bring up, I think this comment got deleted. But after this, we're going to actually bring up your real thoughts around charity before we get into, looking at the rest of the, I don't know. I'm surprised he gets as many views as he does. It's outstanding. Gosh, I think we're getting him into hate views now. We're doing a foodie beauty on him, guys.
10 after. Now I'm going to have to get out 2 credit cards because if you pay,
sipping on
you want to pay for somebody else, they have to get a manager to come over because you're using the same payment.
You would like that, Eloise.
2 times in a row, and there's some kind of scammy thing about that.
Yes. Yeah, actually,
one day I'm going to pull up and say,
Eloise,
they got you.
Since I have you here in the chat and you are a pharmacist, could you please let the audience know how mixing, I believe Tim is on a codeine cough syrup, but he was taking that along with Ambien and what was the other thing he was taking? Oh, Tessalon pearls, I believe. I believe he might, I don't know if we took all 3 together, But we definitely know he was taking the Ambien and the codeine cough syrup together. I don't know if that's a good plan. Let me know in the chat, Eloise. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Scrambled eggs and sausage.
And the senior coffee?
All right, $5.54.
Yes, ma'am.
$5.54. That's within
Can't
Tim's
afford it.
budget.
Here you go, love.
How much is the order behind me?
Oh, his was $5.54. Hold on. He was smiling because his was only $5.54. Okay, let's see how much the order is behind him. Because there's the cutoff point with Tim. But remember, he just talked about someone giving him $100 for some shoes that cost him $149.99 for a guy who's constantly buying stuff.
Let me check. All right, the next one behind you is 96 cents.
Are you kidding?
Oh, that's within his budget.
Did you hear that, folks? 96 cents. That's a new record. I'm making a video.
Is that a new record for being cheap? Is it a gnat's chuff, as we say in England? Or as tight as a gnat's chuff, I should say. That, surprisingly, was one of my stepdad's favorite sayings. It was to talk about so being as tight as a gnat's chuff. And Tim is as tight as a gnat's chuff. Yes, Ambien. And he's on the scissor. Because he's on Ambien with his mix. Hey, Catherine, happy holiday. Senior coffee. Senior coffee means at a discounted price because he's a senior. So I guess the person behind him is getting a senior coffee deal too at McDonald's. So Tim is excited. So as you can see, Tim is just so generous. So I wanted to share something real quick just to kind of says, probably a little too much sedation with all three and a hangover effect of drowsiness affecting ability to drive. Well, you know, he has glaucoma in one eye too. So he's real safe. Tight as a crab's ass, as a gnat's chuff, as we say in the UK. All right. So as you know, Tim is just cannot wait to give over to the, generosity of people. So I'm going to, hold on, let me bring this up. Let me stop this if I can. Hold on. I don't know if I can stop it. Hold on. I'm going to just keep looping this around. So it says, I'm making a donation. And this came on to one of Tim's videos, one of his recent videos, like in the last day or two. It came up over the weekend. And it says, I'm making a donation to the Harvest House in Sarasota, Florida. I'm sure Tim would agree with not sending him gifts and sending a donation to the Harvest House in his name. It's the Christian thing to do during the season. And Tim responds, as you can see, it's Tim here. Your comments have changed from 6 months ago. And I understand this particular person potentially was somebody who lost a spouse and had been somewhat generous towards Tim, making donations because they had been going through a tough time. And I think Tim had cheered them up. I think that's the story. Somebody in the chat will probably clarify. We'll catch up with that. I'm just because I think the way I've got this thing up, it won't show from the chat. So he then says, your comments, like I said, have changed for 6 months. Please don't speak to me. You do you. And he also used that you do you in the video that we're seeing now when he was saying when people get upset about him taking donations from people, sending him $100, and he's laughing about the 96 cents coffee and making a big show of paying it forward. But in reality, when somebody tries to donate in his name, that's Tim's response. That's Tim's response. Don't speak to me. So I just think it shows really a lot about him, who his character is. Yeah, this shows his true character. If you can't do something for him, then he has no more use for you. Yeah, I think it's nice to make donations, especially if you feel that people have. He's showed up in this Honda 2024. He's in the Crusher 2024 that cost $60-some thousand, and then the Crasher at $40-some thousand. All these hundreds of thousands of dollars in assets. This was somebody who had given to Tim in the past and said that they were going to make, and they obviously, it was interesting because I think obviously the person was trying to sort of give Tim a little bit of a nudge that his behaviors recently haven't been very Christian. That he's not been. Yeah, he's definitely a fake Christian. Absolutely. Yeah, put a comment about donating to a charity his followers should see. You would think so. But it seems like this other bride, Joseph, turned around and maybe they didn't see that comment and gave Tim $100 on a buy me a coffee. She said she could have gotten Tim free golf. That's it. Thank you, David. Thank you. Thank you, David. That's right. She could have gotten him free golf in Utah. That's right. So she had offered to basically get him all this free golf in Utah. And this is how Timmy responds to people. Thank you, David. I knew there was an interesting story. Thank you for clarifying. Ziggy, Zing and Biscuit for, yeah. And so obviously Tammy's back. He's back in the Honda. We knew that. Yeah. Doesn't even have a nativity scene set up. Right. And it was, I don't like that he really plays on this and the McDonald's. This is such a show. Okay. So that's kind of where Tim has been today on the way to McDonald's. I don't think there's anything interesting else that he talked about in this particular video at all. I don't think so. Okay, so what else did he spit out today? So he also had an hour long almost in front of a fire pit, which I could not even dare to care to look at. I looked at this one. He went 23 minutes into a Walmart. He's got some little carrier thing now. Is that his gun holster? Is that what he's carrying? Is he open carrying here? Is that what's got? He better not on YouTube. What's he got here? What's this on his shoulder? What's on the shoulder, everybody? What's this? Is this Tim's man purse? Anyway, he went to Walmart. And then obviously he did some last minute Christmas shopping, a 3-minute video. And he spotted an F-250. And he's had 493 views. I'm always curious what the comments are, though. Let me stop him. Let's see what the comments were. He's got 3 comments. I guess Tim's been out here sanitizing. You got me for a second. What recession? You're working hard during the holidays. Don't do too much. I actually get a whole month off from my prison job in December. So that's where we are with Tim today. He's just spitting out the same old, same old. Okay. So this was an interesting video. So we're going to go over to this one. This is the one we're going to react to today. I have sped this person up to 1.25. This was shared with me by What's Happening, and they've seen this video. So I can understand if you don't want to share, say in this. I'm going to share this tab instead. I did leave the link for this person's channel on my channel in the description box. So let me show you some of the details first. So it's called Waiting to Collect Social Security is a Scam. Question mark with big capital letters, which is interesting. And it's called The Financial Focus. It's from a certified financial planner, and obviously there's always going to be questions around people who, work in the industry. This is what they do. This is how they make their money. He has just a little bit over 5,000 subscribers, and he did this video. Now, the interesting thing is the person that he decides to talk about in this video. And that's what we're going to be sharing today. So let's get into the video. If you want to check out Mark's channel and show support to Mr. Bialik, then go ahead and please do so. I would love for you to be able to do that. And if you want to do that and watch it and give it support, then that would be great. So let's take a look at what he's up to. And again, like I said, we are doing the giveaway here. Some people have come in as not active, and some people are active. So it's all your choice to come in if you want to go into the giveaway. All right, guys. I think you have to stay in the chat for a certain amount of time to participate in the giveaway. I think that's how that worked. All right. For those of you who are not in the United States, this might not be so interesting because it talks about the details of Social Security here. But I think the interesting part is what he talks about in regards to the person he's going to talk about. So, and why we always say this is why we get concerned. And yet, because we don't necessarily have the expertise, then obviously it just seems like we're hating on somebody. Whereas this person has actual expertise in this area, whether they're from a financial planner, I don't know if he's a fiduciary or not. There's so much, everyone in the United States is controversial in some way or another. But I think he makes some very valid points in his video. So let's go.
All right, let's jump into our financial 15 section here.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean that to get small like that. Hold on. I don't know what happened there. I'm going to make me a little.
And this week's financial 15 is dangerous
go.
financial information
Smaller.
is waiting to collect Social Security, a scam. So I talked to you at the beginning of the weekly webinar about this. This is a video I came across. I think somebody mentioned it to me. Hey, did you see this guy who's talking about the benefits of collecting Social Security at age 62? And it's really compelling. So I went and I found this fellow named Sarasota Tim, and I'm going to share some of the parts of the video, but if you haven't already done so and you're joining us for the first time, please hit the like, subscribe, and notification button. And if you want to go back and reference that weekly webinar I was talking about, you can look that up on our website. You can find us at outofborrowwealth.com. That's outofborrowwealth.com. Find that website, or go into the Resources Center, Education Resource Center, and you'll find our weekly webinars. So, I want to talk to you about this financial information that's coming from YouTube. I understand that I am coming to you through YouTube, and I understand there's a bit of not irony. That's not the right word, but there's a bit of a hypocrisy about me saying, be careful who you listen to about financial advice or financial information from YouTube. This channel.
So this video came out 2 days ago. And obviously, probably with everything happening with Zachary Michael, and everything happening, when you go now and put in the word Sarasota Tim, he is starting to fall further down the search. There are so many other channels that go on top of Sarasota Tim. So if you can like my stream at the moment, then we'll get above Sarasota Tim as far as getting above him on the algorithm here at YouTube. So I really would appreciate that. That's a great help for Christmas. Let people know that we're currently meeting up, and actually going to take a look at some of the actual numbers here, because I think we have a lot of talk about his negligence on this, but this is really interesting because he actually does show solid numbers, and he actually shows some of Sarasota's stuff. So it's pretty interesting. So I wonder if Tim's going to strike out against this gentleman's channel too, if he discovers he spoke about him. Keep going, sir.
All that I provide is really about education. I've been in this business. I'm studying this and doing this since 2001. I'm a certified financial planner. I'm very proud of that. You've heard me talk about my involvement in the EdSlot Elite and Master Elite Advisor Group. I've been studying these things for many, many years. I feel very confident and qualified to bring you this information. But I'm not an expert on every topic either. There are things that we are absolute expert in, and things that I've been called, David McKnight is referred to me as one of the top tax efficient planners in the nation. I appreciate that. So let me say this, if you're one of the several financial advisors who may be joining us today for the first time coming from the webinar, I did a webinar last week with an organization of financial advisors where I was talking about, some of the strategies that we use. And we had a lot of financial advisors from around the country who joined us. So if you're one of those folks and you're not already.
Now, just to give heads up, because the video was a little longer, I did speed up Mark to 1.252. But listen, he's got all these great points here, all about Sarasota Tim and all the things he's not included. It's like more fuel to the fire for those of us who really don't like the financial information that could impact people.
A member of the EdSlot Elite Advisor Group. I just can't urge you enough to get in touch with that group and attend a 2-day event. And if you use my name, I think you save something like $500. I don't get anything for that, but I'm happy to have you use my name to get that discount. And if I see you at an event, please come up and say hello, and you should join the group for sure, because you'll get constant education. And that's been so beneficial to me since I became a part of Ed's group many years ago. But, I told you I'm a certified financial planner. There's a lot of education and training that goes along with that. I'm very proud of that. There's not enough of us in the country. There's not enough folks in the EdSlot Elite Advisor Group. There's only 400 or so, just a few over 400 of us in the EdSlot group in the entire nation. If you want to find out what I'm talking about that is also on my website. Go to outofborrowwealth.com, and there's a slot corner where you can pull down information and learn all about the EdSlot Elite Advisor Group. But the reason I'm telling you this is that because people are creating YouTube channels, and like this fellow Sarasota Tim, who is, I'm sure, a really nice guy.
No,
I've
hold
only
on,
watched a
Mark.
couple of his
Hold
videos,
on,
but
Mark.
it seems that
See, he's being way too nice to Tim. I got to stop you there. No, he's not a super nice person, because if he actually finds out you did this, he's going to try to strike you, Mark. Okay. So Tim is going to prove that he's not this great guy. Okay. We just showed you that Tim wants his subscribers to donate $100 towards his new shoes that he had to get in white. Of course, there was some special reason why he had to get his new shoes in white, and his $150 bloody shoes plus taxes, whatever they are in Florida. And then he was like giggling in glee that he only had to make a 96 cents coffee, probably $1 with tax, on his pay it forward at the car, drive through at the McDonald's. And then he got shirty about somebody making a donation in his name to an actual charity helping people. So no, and it's just one of many reasons why Sarasota Tim, not a nice guy. And I'm sure everybody can drop many comments in the chat as to why. And we already know, because Atomic Sage did a Festivus where everybody listed out. So go check out that video. And everybody was able to leave their Festivus grievances about Tim, of which there's probably 70,000 of them at least. Keep going, Mark. We can add yours to the list.
he retired early. I don't know if he's from Florida, moved to Florida, and he seems to be living a good life. He collected his Social Security at age 62, and he's telling you all the reasons why you should also collect your Social Security at age 62. And therein lies the problem. Social Security is very, very complicated. There are a lot of considerations to take into account before you make that election, because it's probably one of the most important decisions you're going to make for your retirement. So Sarasota Tim, I'd love to have a cup of coffee with him. I'm sure he's a good guy. He is not a certified financial planner. He is not a Social Security expert. He does not have the education and training needed to be offering this financial advice. It is really kind of.
What are you talking about? Tim has life. Tim's drawing Social Security. That makes him an expert. What are you talking? It's like when people ask me why I talk about having expertise in medicine. Well, if I'm going to talk about things regarding medicine, isn't it important for me to actually point out I may have expertise in that area? I think people, people need to know. I know there are other people who just believe because you've lived the life and you have the experience. Well, that's great anecdotally to you. But when it comes into a larger picture, it's good to have expertise. But, this guy just points out everything that Tim doesn't have. I love it. Keep going, Mark. Don't let me interrupt you.
And it's scary that people can just put this out there. And again, the reason I'm bringing it to you, I'm going to give you some numbers here. Let's review the numbers here. So Sarasota Tim's YouTube page has 63,000 subscribers. It's a very respectable amount. In the YouTube world, it is really quite a big amount. I'm certain that Tim's getting revenue from that YouTube channel. I don't know how much, but I'm certain it's something pretty significant. This one video has over 250 views, 250,000 views, 256.
Okay, so he's actually going to show one of Tim's videos and show his numbers, which is awesome. He had one that was 2.2 million. YouTube has a lot to answer for. They really do. And the fact that they, and Tim's spitting out. That's why I want this people to listen to this, whether they agree with this person or not, or whether they agree with financial planners or not. They certainly have a lot more experience than Tim. And some actually do have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure you are getting the best decisions made for your financial planning. So it's always good to look for a fiduciary. He's very true. Tim doesn't put out any disclaimers. Doesn't just keep listening. I don't know if he's mentioned that part, but if he does mention about the fact that he doesn't do any of this. Okay, keep going, Mark. Don't let me interrupt, but it's important.
6,000 views as of the last time I looked at it, which was right before this recording. It has 8,300 likes. These are big numbers, folks. And Tim will say, he says in his videos that his channel really popped when he talked about Social Security. So he's likely to continue talking about Social Security. This is, YouTube is about a lot of things, and it's certainly about marketing dollars. All right, so I adjusted my screen here just so I can write on it a little bit better. But YouTube is certainly about entertainment and about the marketing dollars that comes in. So it's it's about money for YouTube, and the more outrageous the comments and topics, they get more views. So this, the title of the video that you're going to see is "Collect Your Social Security at 62 ! Waiting is a scam ! Scam is all in caps. So that gets a lot of attention. Wait, the government's trying to scam me? I better take my Social Security early. But I read through some comments, and actually Tim had said, I've helped thousands of people collect their Social Security at 62. Well, Tim gets money for this. And that's a concern of mine. More views equals more money. That's why they have these outrageous claims and comments. But he's helping people. He's emphatic about it. He says, this is why I collect it, and you should too. He doesn't say this is why I collect it, but every situation is different.
See, and listening to somebody who's an experienced financial planner and who's hearing this emotive language being used by Sarasota Tim to pull audiences in order for him to rake in that AdSense money, to rake in obviously people who are loving his philosophy, the buy me a coffee that he gets, all his life style, just live life, you do you, all this stuff. And this guy is going to show how this is concerning. So just, take note, everybody. Because it's not just us thinking we're having a personal grievance against Sarasota Tim. It's really because there are a lot of us here in this chat who are professionals who do not think that this person, Sarasota Tim, should be giving legal advice without even disclaiming that he has no professional. I mean, a real disclaimer, not just like I'm a regular guy, rolling around to McDonald's. It's so dangerous. And he's still spinning out hashtag Social Security videos every other week, at least once a week, trying to capture the audience again. She shouldn't be allowed. In my opinion,
should consult a financial professional about these decisions. That's the right thing to say. If he stood up and he said all those things, the situation would be different. But let me share this video with you, and then we'll go through some of the items here. So just stay with me here. So I'm going to introduce you now to Sarasota Tim, and I'm going to play this along. So we're going to listen to this together. It runs about 6 minutes, a little bit more than 6 minutes, but I cut out a little bit. But let's listen to Sarasota Tim together, and we'll jump in as we need to.
But we're going to use the full retirement age, which is 66 and 8 months for me, but let's round it up to 67 years old. So that's 5 years that I'm collecting Social Security earlier than I would have if I waited till 67. In those 5 years, I would have collected, I'm going to collect $102,000. So let's say I have a twin brother and he collects at 67. From what everybody tells me, you get 8% more each year on your Social Security by delaying your benefits. So at 67 years old, you would get 28.
Just be aware of whatever. This is his video. Waiting to collect Social Security is a scam. Okay, I believe that's the financial focus. This is one of Tim's video. It'd be interesting to know exactly where in Tim to timestamp the advice that he's giving is misinformation, because it's very clearly pointed out by this gentleman.
8,005. You would get,
you know what I mean?
$2,380. I get $1,700. My brother's going to get, my hypothetical brother, he's going to get $2,380, $680 more. That's about right? You guys agree? It's about $600 or $700 more you get by waiting. Not to 70, it's even more, but at 67. That's 40%, at 8% a year from 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67. It's 5 years, 8% times 5. If you just add 40% to 1,700, you get $2,380.
So let me just stop there. This is kind of where it starts going off the rails. So, and again, it's not a criticism of him because this math is complex. So there's two glaring issues here. First of all, the difference between.
Yeah, Mark, just going to help you out, mate. Complex math is not one of our buddy Tim's strong suits. Numbers, not one of Tim's strong suits. I believe Miss Tammy actually had to come in at one point and correct his numbers, which is when I realized Tim was just somebody who was riding on bad information when he launched his YouTube. I think he wanted to, there was a lot of channels at the time during the, when everything was going down in our globally in our society. And there were a lot of channels popping up that spoke about PPP loans, EIDL, all these different areas. And I think Tim just happened to, I always say, hit the right time where he just kind of decided that he wanted to take that opportunity to talk about something financial, because there's a lot of money when you tag your videos as being financial. So that's something else that I always want to point out. If Tim is collecting AdSense, he actually could be putting it under a financial blog or I think there's like a financial something. There's one of the tags that say financial. And so if you're giving financial information, talking about financial topics, you get to put your video into that category for your YouTube. And therefore, when people are looking for information on financial topics, Tim is going to show up in their videos. And I believe he somehow, I don't know what I was looking for, but he somehow, and he just seemed to appear in everybody's algorithms. And a lot of people watched him. But when I watched his numbers go incorrect, and that Miss Tammy was correcting his math, and he was standing there with a little piece of paper with like scratched out numbers, I'm like thinking to myself, this guy, something's wrong. And then, then I got more involved once I realized he was like standing around naked in front of people. And I kind of was losing interest in Chantel not addressing her diabetes. And I've come over to Tim, who has proved to be an interesting character. Watching and judging you. Thank you so much for the super. It says, oops, I had to leave a comment on Mark's vid. Well, you know what? Oops, I'm glad you did. And I hope all of you will go and support Mark's video and take a look, especially, wanting to find out information around him and his Social Security. But yeah, let's keep going, Mark. This is interesting. He's really gonna, but Tim is definitely, he knows, he understands too. All of us who work in the YouTube and who are monetized channels, who understand how the system, everyone understands how much money Tim has been profiting from these videos, where he's giving out some very, very, what this gentleman considers to be, and also, in my opinion, potentially bad advice. And, everyone can do themselves, but Tim wasn't prepared for retirement at 62 either, which is part of his misnomer. A lot of the people who make comments and retire at 62, these people really did prepare. Tim wasn't. He just got
in 62
lucky.
And 67. 67 is your full retirement age. 62 is a reduced rate. And the reduction is 30%. 30% of what your full retirement age would have been. Your primary insurance amount, it's called your full retirement age amount, would have been it's 30% of that. So the 40% is wrong. The 8 times 5 being 40, that's wrong. But you would think that actually it would give him a better starting point, or it would make his position stronger, but it doesn't. And I'll show you the numbers in a bit. But the reason it doesn't is because there's an important thing that Tim is missing, and that's the inflation factor, a cost of living allowance that's built into Social Security. Now, it's been large over the past few years, right? With the inflation that we've had, there's only actually been a few times, I think it's 3 times. And
Mark, Tim thinks cola is something that you drink that Miss Tammy asked for. That's a zing that you get from McDonald's. Okay, cola doesn't exist as cost of living adjustment for Tim. He thinks that's a zing. Why would you think he would include it in anything about Social Security? Do you think Tim is an expert?
Past 30 or so years where we've had zero inflation increase. But so you can count on an inflation increase, and the average that I show is 2%. And I think that's a reasonable average for discussion purposes and for illustration purposes. But Tim misses that. And what's really important about that is that inflation is compounded. So that increase is compounded. So when you have that 2% increase, on top of your benefit, and that increases every year and then increases on top of that, that's compound interest. I think it was Albert Einstein who called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. And if you're using it works against you for debt and it works for you in situations like, annuitized payments from Social Security or interest.
He's so nice about Tim. I like Mark. And the thing is, he's so nice about Tim, but if Tim finds out that Mark out here showing Tim's video, he'd strike his ass and show that he's not a nice guy. And he doesn't want anybody questioning his shiny advice. That's why Tim's dangerous. Keep going, Tim.
But Tim is missing that altogether. So
the
math is wrong from the beginning, and then he's completely missing the cost of living allowance and the compound interest on the cost of living allowance. And we'll go over the numbers in a second, but let's let Tim finish some more here.
So now you get that big check that everybody says you're gonna, it was worth waiting for. You got the big money coming in now. All right. Now what people don't tell you, what they lead you.
That's the rumor, Lee. That I don't know where. Probably in the early lore of Tim. That he left because he leaves 15 videos a day. So you really have to go back through a lot of material. Some things he has deleted. But I think there was something that he might have spoken about when he was getting it initially, that it was based from a spouse and theirs, because he didn't work enough hours to have been able to collect that much. So, and I think potentially maybe it had been from an older spouse. I don't know. There's all sorts of questions, but it would have meant that she would have earned quite a lot of money. I don't know, but that's kind of the rumor.
You down the wrong road, or I call it as a con, is you have $680 more in your check. I've got $102,000 in my pocket, in my savings account, or money I've spent living life, taking cruises, vacations, investing some of it, whatever I want to do. And I can still work a little bit and make more money and just have freedom, in my health. Let me make one point before I continue with the math. This is about your age. Please consider this, folks. When you're 67, you're older than you are at 62. And things start to happen.
All right, I'm going to skip over this part because he's correct. He's talking about, how active you are at different ages, 62 to 67. And that is, a 5-year difference can make a difference. But he uses a...
And that's true. And I've also heard that there are certain changes within your neurotransmitters that can make you start to get more signs of major depressive disorders once you turn 65. So, yeah. Keep going. Both of you gentlemen.
A peculiar analogy comparing the ages from 62 to 67 to 12 years old to 17 years old. It just doesn't make sense to me. So for the sake of time, I'm going to skip to the next section, and we're going to go to 750 here, where he gets back to the math.
Get back to the math. So let me bring you back to square one. I get 1,700. My twin brother, he waits. He gets 2,380. After 3 years, my brother, he has collected, and he's got a whopping, let's see, at 70 years old, he's got $85,680. All right, because he started only 3 years earlier. I've been collecting since 62. I'm now up to $163,200. He's at $85,000. Now let's just end the video here, and let me take you to the very end. My twin brother and I unfortunately died at 80 years old on the same day, and we drew our Social Security for 18 years and 13 years respectively, because he waited 5 years. At the end of that time, I drew a total.
Not to interrupt him, but I did want to thank Mark for actually doing this video, because this has been a dream come true. I've been wanting somebody with some real, understanding of how this works, because it's not my wheelhouse. My wheelhouse is the medicine. And from what I could read, I think that Tim probably did have some type of pneumonia, because doxycycline is actually prescribed. And I don't know if Eloise is still in the chat for mycoplasma pneumonia. So it's one of the first things it mentions. Doxycycline is pneumonia. Then we got the Tessalon pearls and the prednisone shot with prednisone, which I think kind of sounded like probably a hit to cover potentially walking pneumonia that Tim had, which I wouldn't be surprised with how he was rushing around. Anyway, so that's my wheelhouse. This is this gentleman's wheelhouse, and I'm so glad, because he goes over so much. So we're going to keep going. I just have to interrupt, obviously, for fair use, as we know, because Mark probably not a litigious bastard, but Tim is, as we know.
Of $367,200 in 18 years. That's assuming that it never goes up. We're just using, hypothetical here. $367,200. But because my twin brother got all this extra money and he collected it for the same period and he didn't die and he lived to be 80 years old, he caught up. He even went past me. He collected $371,280 by getting that big $680 more a month for 13 years and died the same day as me at 80 years old. That's a difference of, are you ready? This is the kicker. Are you listening? $4,080 my twin brother ended up getting and collecting more than I at age 80. And that is a whole $313.85 more average he got per year, and a whopping $26.15 more.
Kim T's trying to stay out of viral infection, but supposedly the doctor prescribed him with doxycycline. And with all that hacking and coughing and the Tessalon pearls and the codeine cough syrup and stuff, I wanted to think that potentially he was had pneumonia. That's my that's my wheelhouse. This is Mark. So Tim just spat out some numbers, and Mark is actually trying to listen to what Tim's saying, which I have to give Mark credit for.
For a month.
But
so you tell me where
it gets even
this
better,
big,
guys.
giant
It gets even better.
increase in you're going to live so good by being older and getting this few $100s more money, and you may not even live. No,
all right, so we'll stop it there. But you see what I think you see what I mean. So Tim very confidently and very assuredly gave you these numbers and said, this is why you should collect. It doesn't make collected 62 instead of waiting. It doesn't make sense. This is a scam. And he goes on to say, he called it a con, and he goes on to talk about this, but his numbers are all wrong. He's discounting the cost of living allowance. He's discounting the compound effect on that cost of living allowance. And the numbers are much different when you're looking at that. There are other things he didn't consider. He didn't consider a spousal consideration. He didn't think about a spouse at all. And what happens if, in fact, he passes at age 80, but his spouse lives to 90 or 95? He didn't even, he used a very low life expectancy. So even the IRS.
Blind viewers, you are more than welcome to Shameless Plug. And if you want to drop a link to your channel in the chat, feel free to do so, because I love all the support from this community. And I think this is great to finally have this for Tim. Merry Christmas, Tim. Happy 2024 to 2025. Merry 2024, Tim. And we're still giving away Junebug's Christmas card for those participating in the chat. Wherever you are in the globe, Junebug wants to send a copy of a Christmas card.
Social Security considers the average life expectancy for a male to be 84 years old. For financial planning experts, we do our planning out to 95, 100 years old, because people are living longer. So to make these decisions based on faulty math, very short life expectancy is just dangerous. And this fellow, who is not licensed, who is not educated, who is not trained for this kind of advice, is convincing thousands of people to collect their Social Security early. And that's why I wanted to bring this to your attention, because somebody mentioned it to me, and it's dangerous. Let's talk about the experts. I told you, Social Security.
What? Tim giving dangerous advice and not licensed or have the expertise to do so? Come on. I mean, he gives out insurance advice too for Medicare Advantage. And he tells people not to go see his doctors, but he's got his PCP on speed dial. Pardon my French. Merry Christmas. I'm not even having a sip tonight. What do you mean? Tim Dangerous. He'll come after you if you say this, Mark. He will delete your comments, man. You're going to get your channel struck for talking about Guru Tim here, not having the right advice, especially when it comes to matters around Social Security. That's Tim's biggest hit up the algorithm. That made him a fortune. He gets to tell everyone how they should just get out there and live their best life. Nobody's guaranteed tomorrow.
It's very complex. I'm not an expert in Social Security. I will absolutely share that. But I have an expert on our team, and this expert is Heather Schreiber. Heather Schreiber is certainly one of the top Social Security planning experts in the country. I met Heather through the slot organization, and I would ask her questions. And a couple years ago, she said, well, you can just hire me for that.
Oh.
So let's see what Heather has to say about that. So I was talking to Heather about
Angel,
this,
come
and
on
I
in.
had her watch the video.
Come
I said, Heather,
on.
tell me what you think about this. And here are Heather's comments. She said, Mark, first of all, there are several assumptions that, in my humble opinion, are a bit flawed and border on negligence. First of all, he assumes a lower than average life expectancy in both scenarios, 80 and 70. He goes on in the video to talk.
Oh, no. Tim is going to really dislike this lady. One, she looks like an attractive older professional lady with a job. We know that Tim does not like ladies who. That's a no-no. Yeah, Junebug's like growling in her sleep over there. And she got a chance to look at Tim's video. And so we're going to listen to what this expert, one of the leading experts, if not the leading expert in Social Security financial planning in the country, has to say about Tim's advice. There are a lot of people in the financial industry, Tim, who have started to become concerned. And I just wish YouTube would have the same amount of concern and would take that faulty information down. It kills me that it still exists and that he doesn't disclaim anything. And I mean, it just, oh my goodness. Anyway, let's listen to what she has to say, because there's something interesting about what they mentioned about Tammy here. Cinema, just wait, because they factored Tammy into this, which is very interesting because of how they used to portray themselves. Remember at this time? And we didn't know that Dwayne Musselman was still alive, who was Tammy's husband. So this situation is even better.
Talk about 870, but we're not going to play that. Nor does he mention any cost of living assumptions that come with Social Security. By filing at age 62, he's locking in a lower bump for the rest of his life. So receiving a cost of living allowance, if it's 3% or 2% at $1,700 compared to $2,400 is, of course, a big difference. And that's where that widening effect happens. Because it will be based on the lowest benefit possible, she says. Heather goes on the right. The other glaring thing that is missing is that he never mentions Tammy in this scenario. He can't talk in terms of break even without discussing his spouse, particularly if she is a low earning spouse, because his claim at 62 means that she will inherit it.
Well, Tim didn't include anything about spouses, and he didn't include Tammy because Tammy's just a side piece. She's just that sweet little thing on the side that he has. That's why he didn't include Tammy. But you're making a good point here, that he never mentioned about anybody if they actually had a spouse. So everything that Tim talks about is and he doesn't preface this as if you were single and living like Tim. But I love that they mentioned Tammy in this. It's exquisite. Chef's kiss.
It inherit 82.5% of his primary insurance amount, his PIA. Fortunately, the SSA, Heather writes, that's the Social Security Administration, does protect widows in this situation by what's called the widow's limit, which gives them the greater of his benefit at death. In his case, it would be 70% of his PIA, remember, because he collected it at age 62, or 82.5% of his PIA. So there is a ability there for her to collect a little bit more, but still it will have a great effect if, in fact, they were married and she's collecting a survivor benefit. Heather writes, I do completely understand the logic of wanting to spend it while you are in your go-go years, but not everyone can afford to retire at 55 and live to 100 and still file at 62. I think he is unrealistic. And the reality is that 70% of people over the age 65 will experience a long-term care event, and few are equipped to pay for it. And guess where it comes from? Yep, she says their Social Security checks.
What do you mean? This makes too much sense over here. These people are, this is too much. This makes way too much sense for Tim. There's financial planning. There's actual numbers. There's people with expertise. There's some planning involved. We can't have any of this going on, Mark. It'll blow Tim's head out the water. And I love this. I love that she called him negligent. Basically said it's basically verging on negligence, the information he gives out. Negligence. And he has these just loyal followers. And then people think that we're mean who are in the younger generation because we talk about how he shouldn't be out here giving this type of information. And we just look like we're bad trippers, like, these old people getting there. Thank you, Junebug. Thank you. getting it, in a twist because Tim's out here, just being a little bit harmless. No, he's actually giving out really dangerous information. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we try to point out. We cannot get it off of YouTube for love and the money. So every time it gets more highlighted, I just, we need to keep having people try to say that he doesn't have the expertise. He doesn't have the disclaimers. And he certainly should not be putting his videos under any type of financial category, really, because that's how he shows up in people's stuff. All right, keep going, Mark, about this lovely lady's letter.
So again, Heather Schreiber, she's one of the best in the country as far as Social Security strategists, and I did get her feelings about that, and you read her words. So Heather also ran some analyses for me. So this is what we use at Heather for, not only her actual words that and opinions she has about things, but she runs these really great strategy reports. So let me show you what we're looking at here.
Oh,
So I just wanted to show you the
holidays,
real numbers.
Trisha. Thanks for
told you
joining.
that, unfortunately, Tim's numbers are flawed because I want to show you. So here's Tim. So we'll just use a T. Starting at age 62, compared to his hypothetical twin brother who started at age 67. So you'll see that the cumulative amounts are actually much greater. There's a much greater difference, and that really has to do with the first the erroneous math, but then the compounding of the.
Yes, I would agree, Edge. It's probably really the first thing that got everybody started was this information. But I think it's really good, since we've been really talking about it, to actually, if we can get more people with expertise to actually react to Tim's videos and know who Sarasota Tim is, actually pick up on this and point it out, is what we need to do, because otherwise we get people like Pittsburgh Chris making a video about me being a hater and how funny it is to have, 3 channel strikes and laughing about my fair use. Well, you're not going to be laughing when Tim can't get things done to really take me down because he's not understanding fair use. So good luck with that. It's just, anyway, Gail says, off topic, but I thought, Ray, you might enjoy Hannah Ricketts' video of Christmas shopping at the Harrods Food Hall and Shop. Yes, I think I saw that. I saw her doing something around Harrods and the Christmas tea. So, yes, I did enjoy it. Thank you, Gail. Thank you. So, yes, Lee says Mark's video link ought to be copied and pasted on every Sarasota Tim video in the comment section from here on. Well, I think he at least is giving us some, actual numbers here. Yeah, we're trying to stop him from taking advantage of vulnerable seniors. Absolutely. And he really does. I mean, look at they're going to point out where Tim's numbers are all flawed here. And obviously there's people in his comments say, well, these guys are financial planners. It behooves them if people are working too longer. But Social Security, the retirement age is later at 67. It isn't. So Tim is asking people to, get retirement early. And I understand for health issues and things happen in people's lives. But he doesn't put any disclaimers out. He doesn't even understand the numbers or what he's even looking at. He just doesn't understand. All right, let's let Mark point out where this stuff goes wrong. Okay, keep going, Mark.
The cost of living allowance. So you'll see here that Tim's cumulative value, and this is assuming Tim's age of death at age 80, like he said. Now, that is not a fair assumption for planning, because as I said, sure, he might pass at 79, 80, 81 years old. Even the Social Security Administration gives him till age 84. But really, you don't want to rely on those low numbers for an assumption. I think 84 is fair because that's what the Social Security Administration tells us is the average age. We can count on those numbers, but just
I can't tell you what to do. Heaven can wait. Everybody has but this is, you kind of saw where they were watching videos, just to let you know. And obviously we have some real solid facts here. So
making arbitrarily up an age of 80
I've
because
reported
that
Tim
kind of fits this narrative. Misinformation. If you're a person that may have health issues and you may not be around past age 75, 80 years old, something like that, then your decisions are going to be different. But you should still look at your situation, have somebody run the numbers for you, and somebody who knows the math behind this and can really present you the actual numbers. Again, not a knock on Tim. Social Security math is really challenging. The number that Tim gave us was.
Well, Tim loves a mathematical challenge, Mark. He's the perfect man to run the numbers by.
$4,080 collectively, cumulatively by age 80. The actual number is $36,275. So what that means, $36,275 less, is that Tim gets $36,275 less than his hypothetical brother. That's the difference between $433,662 at age 80 from 62 to age 80 compared to $469,937 from 67 to age 80. Now,
Well, see, what Mark hasn't factored in is that 80, Tim will still be popping out 10 YouTube videos a day and making all that AdSense because he'll have all the energy in the world. Yeah, how do you mean Tim math flawed? Look at this. They really got in here and they like popped in Tim's numbers and stuff, man. This is awesome.
now you can see in these tables here, I put these side by side. Make sure you can read these. I understand this might be small, but what we're showing here is the collection starts at age 62, goes all the way till he passes at age 80. So his last full year of collection is age 79. But just let's look at that. If Tim would have waited, or his hypothetical brother as comparison, starts at 67. His first year of collection, his benefit is $29,000. Next year is $32,000 again for inflation. Tim's still at $22,000 over here because he collected early and he starts at that discounted amount. But look at these amounts here. There is just about, when they're both age 76, because they're twin brothers, there is just about a $12,000 difference that they receive in that year.
What?
So you can see, again, that divergence, the difference between collecting early and collecting at your full retirement age. And then, of course, that last year is $40,000 compared to $28,554. And here are your cumulative values, $433,000.
Mark, don't show these types of numbers. This is going to blow Tim's top off his head. It's totally contradicting Tim's math here. What do you mean?
Compared to
I mean, you got,
469,000.
like,
so I know that might be a little
offers
small
that
on your
they
screen. I hope you
showing
can see
here,
that.
like
Maybe just
actual
coming closer.
numbers.
So here are the cumulative value differences again.
Tim don't know this.
$433,662 compared to $469,937. So moving on, I have a couple more charts here. So what if
Tim and Tammy? I love Tammy.
What if we add that spouse in? So what if Tim and Tammy are actually married, or the people listening on the YouTube channel actually have a spouse?
Right.
And
okay. Thanks, Mark.
the spouse decides to collect at 62, and even if she collects early, and Tim decides.
Tim surprisingly never includes spousal when he talks about these things. So yeah, let's pretend Tammy is a few years younger than Tim, and we'll play this scenario.
Decides to collect at 67, and again, this is using that same life expectancy of 80 for Tim. Well, actually, then it gets much greater, the cumulative value. So the total amount that's collected over both of their lifetimes is over $1 million, and the difference is $110,000. So by choosing to collect this benefit early at 62, for both of them, Tim and Tammy in this example are leaving $110,000 on the table. If they choose to wait a little longer, Tim collects at age 70, Tammy at age 67, then you can see they actually get $43,000 more on top of that. So, folks, these are really important.
Wow, that is an astounding difference here. That's huge. $110,000 less. It's a lot of money, Tim, that you could potentially be for just a few more years at your prison job. That a lot of people enjoy their prison jobs. I can't imagine retiring from mine in the next 7 years. Jeez, I'm going to pay for my grad school still. I don't feel that old. I don't know. Maybe I'm a different generation. I don't know, Tim. I don't know. Maybe I'll feel different in my 60s. I don't know.
Decisions again, and they should be very individual decisions, right? So it depends on what your situation is. If you have a spouse, if you don't have a spouse, what your individual collection benefit numbers are, and you should consult a financial professional for this, not somebody on YouTube.
What?
Because you shouldn't even take any guidance that I'm giving you right now from YouTube on this matter, because this is about education. This is not about your need.
What are you talking about? Tim is trying to get another one of those videos up the algorithm more. What do you mean that Tim shouldn't? What do you mean you actually should sit down and talk to a person about this? Like, you shouldn't just rely on some chap in a cowboy outfit on YouTube. What do you mean? That's where the best information comes from. I'm perplexed.
Specific need. I always say that. I give examples and I say, but everybody is different. And you should have a discussion with a certified financial planner or a financial planner if it's your needs, and to make sure that this is the right thing for you and to do your own calculation. So this goes on just to, again, show the breakdown of how this rolls out regarding the spousal collection and the difference that it makes. And I just gave you the cumulative numbers. Now I want to take a look at what if we just increase this. Remember the comparison that we did using Tim's example of dying at age 80. Well, forget about the math difference for a second, but what if he just makes it to age 84, the average life expectancy that Social Security tells us it exists for males?
84.
So let's look at the difference.
Mark, you've got to get the Social Security office to contact Tim. Okay, because Tim is gonna die on the hill that every guy's gonna die at 73 in the United States. So Tim's only got a few more years left. That's why he's reminiscing inside of the cramper in front of him and looking, woe is me.
It's here. Well, this spread gets so much larger. If Tim and his hypothetical brother live to age 84 instead of age 80, like on the video, just 4 more years, well, there's an $87,000 difference between age 62 and age 67. Holy cow, folks.
Always buy me a coffee.
That is significant. And really, I think I've shown you that, first of all, you've got to know the math and you've got to know the rules, the Social Security claiming rules, and the effect that these decisions can have. And it is not simple. It is very complex stuff. And you've got to work with the right professional.
What do you mean? You just take Social Security at 62 and hope on dear life that there's another panini and that you can get some government loans that you probably, in my opinion, allegedly weren't really subject to getting. What do you mean it's complicated? You just go out and then get $140-some thousand of losing liabilities. What are you talking about? Mark, you obviously know nothing about retirement in the United States. All friend Sarasota Tim, though, that dude, he's an expert.
I'm telling you, I'll say it again. I am not a Social Security expert. I am expert in a lot of areas. Tax efficient planning for sure. Financial planning for sure. Investment management, investment strategies for sure. But Social Security is very complex. And that's why I have someone like Heather Schreiber. Again, I'll just bring Heather back up here, her picture for a second. That's why I have someone like Heather Schreiber on our team. Heather's one of the best in the country. And I've hired her to on a retainer basis.
Let me
she
stop
reviews
this.
every one
I
of
love
our
this
clients.
first part of this sentence here. I have to read this again. First of all, there are several assumptions that, in my humble opinion, are a bit flawed and border on negligence. First of all, he assumes a lower than average life expectancy in both scenarios. I love it. This is Heather. Tim has got Heather on his list now.
Scenarios. And is very, very helpful to our team. Not just, the conversations we had just recently about this video are similar conversations we have with clients. Okay, what if this claiming strategy, what if they do this? They're really thinking about age 62, but can we show them reasons that might work or might not work? It's all very...
Tim didn't have a choice but to take it at 62 because he, I'm sure the oil coupon business was kind of just getting really hit. He just, I guess, just kind of going around different neighborhoods, and the idea of selling those coupon books after he had such a nice time making money talking about a subject that is nowhere near anything he should be speaking around, and then he made a ton of money on it. These guys are getting 2.2 million views on it, and he talked about the fact that Tim uses specifically emotive language, which works on YouTube, and it triggers all of us. That's why I use also big, capitalized letters, because it's part of how things work in YouTube. There's certain tricks that people use in order to kind of use the psychology of the human mind in order to get people to click on their videos. And Tim happened to just pick up on one, and it clicked into the YouTube algorithm. But he is dangerous, and he gives dangerous advice. And I think we'll just keep going. And I know that my voice is going to stay strong. And even if I don't get these other 3 videos back, I still have other things that I am in the kind of working towards when it comes to Tim. So, because YouTube isn't taking care of him. So it may have to be taken care of in other ways.
Very specific. Might I
I'll
have a
leave it
client
there.
that I recommend they take their strategies, their benefits at 62? Maybe. I don't think I ever have, but maybe. But it's all dependent on what their needs are. I'm not one of those people that always says
I even leave
age
hater
70
channel in here.
either. All right, let's make sure we hit all of our topics for today. So
Topics.
we talked about the numbers. For the kind of the why behind this. Why do people put out these videos like this? Well, again, I'm sure.
Can you imagine Tim having any type of presentation of this matter? Where he actually's got like this gentleman can probably get on a Zoom call with a client, which is probably why potentially he has also this type of setup. And he can go through numbers and circle things and highlight things to his clients. Tim has no idea. He went out with scrappy paper where he crossed stuff out. Miss Tammy made some corrections for it because she realized he messed his numbers up. So he actually had to go out and do that apology. It's wild. Keep going. We're almost done.
Sarasota Tim is a very nice man, and he's got
no, he's
all
not
good
a nice
intentions. He really seems
man.
to be
He's
a good
not a
person.
nice man,
But listen-
Mark. Promise you, Mark. If he sees that you used even a portion of his video and that you corrected him on his social security numbers, he gonna strike you like a cobra.
He's trying to drive subscribers. He's trying to get more views. He's trying to get more likes. All this equals money to him. So you can't fault him for that, but you got to, he's not a financial advisor. He's giving out financial advice. He's not qualified to do so. He can talk about his own experience, but he should not be so forcefully, in my opinion, telling people what they should do.
Well, and that's
Tim, if you're listening, just tell people, make sure
and that's the thing. I mean, you could see it as self-serving, but also these people do train. So I mean, it's like somebody coming on to YouTube and talking about health advice, and they really don't understand the complexities of the human body. I love all these people. I just want to talk health and wellness with people, and yet they've never studied medicine because that's not, I guess, where they see health and wellness. I mean, you get people who are personal trainers, but they shouldn't be talking, they can talk about strategies to keep healthy, but they don't talk about like health, if that makes sense. I think there's always, a fine line. I think Tim is far more self-serving than this gentleman because Tim has no experience and he tags himself this way. So Tim is a definitely far more self-serving character than this gentleman could ever be.
You seek the guidance of a qualified financial professional. The calculations do not include cost of living allowance. There's only been a few times in history that we have not had cost of living allowance. Calculations don't include compound interest on the cost of living allowance. Huge difference there. And of course, the compound interest on cost of living allowance greatly increases the value of waiting. Considerations for spousal benefits. Holy cow. It can have such a big impact if there's a spouse involved. We talked about Heather Schreiber's comments, and we talked about Heather. I told you that one of my concerns is that Tim's talked about helping thousands of people receive Social Security benefits early, receiving them at age 62 instead of any other age, whether it's 63, 64,
Yep. Tim's going to make all these big, grandiose claims because, Tim's got to keep bringing people back to his videos because he wants that AdSense. He's got a taste of that YouTube AdSense money. He's never going to give that up, Mark. That's why he gets vicious if anybody criticizes him. And now you're going to be part of the Tim Hater Club, even though you're trying to point out why his information could be dangerous for people and why they really should go out and speak to somebody else, and why you've even said in your video that you shouldn't even be the source. So, I mean, you disclaimed yourself out there. So, I mean, everybody could talk about in the comment sections about them taking Social Security at 62, this, that, and the other. But probably a lot of these people spoke to somebody that helped them plan that out. Very few people, unless they actually work in the business, have the experience, the time, or the access to certain things to understand really how it is to plan it out, especially in a country like America, where the cost to retire and to die and to age is very expensive. The cost of healthcare is ludicrous. Take it to somebody who works in healthcare.
65, 67, 70 years old. He's locked in. You should take it at age 62. It's different for everybody. It may be the best option for Tim, but this is really the best option. Other considerations, other income you may have. You get a reduction in your Social Security benefits if the Social Security benefit or Social Security Administration says that you earn too much money. Those thresholds I don't have here. They're listed on the Social Security website. Taxes, of course, your own cash flow needs, spousal benefits. Now, listen, I list cash flow needs. Again, there might be good reasons to take your Social Security at age 62.
Cash flow needs. I tell you, the cash flow need that Tim has. He got that $300 a month EIDL loan and probably whatever's on those vehicles. This may be the best option for Tim, but it's rarely the best option. He's trying to give Tim, he's actually giving Tim some financial planning advice here. Something that Tim has no idea. He's just going to roll around telling everybody that life is great and I'm having the best cup of coffee ever and the best game of golf and the best life at the best shopping mall, at the best campsite, in the best city, in the best state, in the best country, and the best of the best of the best.
Ooh, one of them might be, I really need that income now. But you have to look at everything, and it is specific for you. If it works for you to take Social Security at age 62, you should not be advising other people to do it just because it worked for you. Spousal benefits, Social Security math and planning can be confusing. One of the most important decisions you will make is how and when you're going to collect your Social Security, and proper, thorough financial planning is vital. So again, folks, this was not about calling out or picking on Sarasota Tim. I respect what he's done on YouTube. I caution him.
I don't know if I respect what he's done on YouTube, Mark. I'm glad you do. I mean, I respect that he somehow got up the YouTube algorithm. I don't respect the fact that he cannot be honest with his subscribers. And I don't respect the fact that he cannot let people know that he really doesn't understand the ins and outs of helping people plan financially, and just telling people that everybody should take Social Security at 62 and just live their life. It's just, he's appealing, I think, to a certain, demographic. It's probably pretty burnt out at work, or, so he's just riding on that coattail. He'll be riding on it for as long as until he's no longer able to talk about it. But it seems, like I said, impossible by YouTube to try to get rid of people like this, because I guess he makes enough AdSense for YouTube. He's kind of hard to get down, unfortunately.
On giving financial advice, I know that Social Security and Social Security topics are one of the most searched topics on the internet. I get it. That helped pop his.
Okay, he's going to explain it because he understands how YouTube works. Watching and judging you. Thank you so much for the super chat. They say, I strongly think everyone should stop watching any Sarasota Tim vids and just let the reaction channels keep us updated. Perma boycott. I always think that if people, I can't, throw that out there because I don't want anybody thinking that I'm trying to stop Sarasota Tim from getting his views. But I really, I have to say, I don't watch a lot. I tend to look at his transcripts, and I'm certainly willing to try to keep people up to date as I can. And I know Blind Views and the rest of us will in order to do that. I know that Tim's probably gotten a few more views lately, especially since Zach Michael, and just people going out of curiosity to watch him, because I've noticed that he did kind of get an uptick in views. And so it always makes me curious as to why he gets so mad at reaction channels as well, because he actually is probably getting a residual help. But Tim doesn't like criticism. Tim can't handle criticism of any type because he doesn't have the necessary skills in order to be able to then discuss through with anybody why he's maybe making a mistake. He's very insecure, in my opinion, and that's part of his insecurity, is his inability to take criticism. When you are secure in who you are as a person, then you can take criticism. I get criticism in my chat, in my comments. Not everyone's going to like me. Not everyone's going to like my energy. Not everyone's going to agree with what I say. And that's okay. And once you get older, that's something that you learn to accept. And you are either, if you feel that the criticism was constructive, then hopefully you'll take the time to learn from it. And I often do. If you felt the criticism was just kind of negative and bullying to be ugly, then you'll ignore it. So I think that that's the difference, is that Tim is unable to take any form of criticism due to a deep sense of insecurity. We're almost done, and then we're going to round it up, and we're going to find out who's going to get Junebug's Christmas card.
Channel, as he said it. I know that means more money in his pocket. I'm not trying to hurt this guy. I'm trying to educate you to be careful about where you get your financial advice from. YouTube should be about financial education, It should not be about following advice from somebody who is not qualified to give it. I think that covers everything for today. Okay. I want to thank you all for joining me this week. Appreciate all the input, all the suggestions, and all the feedback I get from you folks. I love the comments. So be sure to fill out those comments. If you have thoughts about webinars you'd like to see, send me an email. I'd love to hear your thoughts about that. I look forward to seeing you all next week. We're going to talk about Dave Ramsey and his withdrawal rates. You may have seen some information about this on YouTube. I'm going to go over it. I'm going to give you my thoughts and concerns. Thank you and have a great week. Take care.
Well, thank you, Mark. And let's take a look at some of the comments that came in on Mark's channel. And I'm so glad that Angela Glass came in to moderate. Thank you, sweetheart. Happy Christmas. I think Chantel has flown herself back to Canada. I was going to do a Chantel, but she's not putting anything out. I think she's headed to Canada, in my opinion. All right. So we have people here. I took it at 62. No regrets. A lot of this. It says collecting Social Security is no scam. I don't think that's what they meant. But anyway. All right. And then there's lots of people, obviously. One thing the analyst ignores, if you take Social Security later on, then you must work longer or start depleting your retirement savings sooner. This must be added to the analysis because if you take Social Security earlier, oh my goodness, the people get really into this. There's a lot of people that really do think that, because of concerns around your health, which hopefully people took care of their health, so they're not that concerned at 62, because in reality, 62 is not really part of what we consider to be 65 and older is kind of where we start to think about people really getting into older, and then even older than that in healthcare. So, I mean, 62 is still pretty young. Right. It says future health fears is the most powerful reason to take Social Security at 62. Now, I would think, since how expensive healthcare is in the United States, that future healthcare would be the reason not to take Social Security at 62, because it is going to be expensive to care for your health. I think these people are thinking that more along the lines of they want to be able to enjoy a little bit of life healthy, because they've had to work for so many years without really getting time off to enjoy themselves, because a lot of people who are not familiar with how working life is in the United States, it's very different, say, in Europe. When I worked in one company in the UK, we automatically, in my first year of employment, had 20 days off in the year. And I don't think in the United States, people can even imagine what it feels like to have 20 work days off in a year starting a job. And a lot of people here, unless you've worked a long time in a company and you've built up your paid time off, a lot of people will be having to use that time off initially, if they're new with a company, to potentially go to their doctor's appointments or do other activities. And so you're using your time off in order to do just things in your general day-to-day life that you're not able to do at the weekend. And it really leaves you with no time for holiday. So it's not unreasonable that here in the United States, people want to get out of work as soon as they can, because they've had to work so hard with so few holidays. And especially if you've had to change employers, or you've changed employers at all. And so a lot of, but it is an individual decision. So I think even the people dropping the comments in here are not really understanding the factors of the cost of healthcare. Somebody here said, Tim is just a regular guy. There are many voices out there, especially if you're struggling with health issues. Early makes sense. The system benefits if you die early, so do pensions. Tim is more than just your regular guy, though. He's a regular guy who certainly should not be giving Social Security advice to people without disclaimers around that. And so I feel that a lot of what you're kind of reading within the comment section is part of the reason why people like Sarasota Tim are appealing to people who want to then go against people professional and say, oh no, I'd rather listen to the regular guy because he is more aligned with who I am as a person. And so But that, I think, is something that you need to sit down and talk to somebody who can help you plan that out. And if this is the case and you want to do it at 62, I think here in the United States with the cost of healthcare, you really want to start planning that out real early. Anyway, that's my thought on that. Okay, guys, let me see who's the giveaway here, because as I have people leave who aren't active in the chat, then we have less people who are going to get a chance. So hang on there if you want to get a chance to win Junebug's Christmas card. So let me see. We're going to see who's going to be the winner. And if you would like, I will say how you can get in touch with me so I can send you the card. All right, Nightbot, choose a winner for me. And as we choose a winner, hold on. As we choose a winner, I'm going to play one of our favorite Sarasota Tim catches.
No. I simply asked. I said, I wish I could have that dry bacon. Well, I mean, you know what that is. No. I simply asked. I said, I wish I could have that dry bacon. Well, I mean, you know what that is. No. I simply asked.
All right. So our lucky winner was, and let me see if I can see them in the comment section now. Sharon S. Sharon, you were the lucky winner of the Junebug Christmas card giveaway. Yay! Let me make me big. So, Sharon, my email address is in the About section of my page. If you go to Life and Vibe, you'll see, if you click down in the About section, right there at the beginning should be my email address. So just send me your address, Sharon, so I can get this over into the mail. And congratulations, Sharon. Junebug is going to send you a copy of her Christmas card for the Christmas giveaway. Yay! So thank you for that. So yeah, just let me know for that address. So thank you. Merry Christmas. Oh, Mark Barlick, Dave Ramsey, and Sarasota Tim. Absolutely. And thank you so much for that. Super. Sarasota Tim should be up there along with Clark Howard. Just all of them. He's such an expert. It's a very Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you guys so much. Don't know what I'll be doing tomorrow. I don't know. I've got some little video clips I wanted to get together. I did get out to the Virginia Beach Town Center and film some Christmas stuff. But I might just leave this for the moment for Tim, for the lives. I was going to try to get something from Girl World, but like I said, Chantel disappeared. But anyway, David, thank you so much for that. Super. It's so appreciated. Watching and judging you again. Thank you so much. And watching and judging you. You gave out 2. Thank you. Hume, thank you for the super sticker. And Leo, thank you as well for, I think that's an Australian dollar. Oh my goodness. I love that. If that's coming in from Australia, I love that. I hope everybody's getting ready for Christmas. I hope you're going to be, I can't wait to see what Tim is going to be up to for Christmas. I'm sure he's going to pop out a number of videos on Christmas Day. And if I don't see you live, because I don't know, there's not really, I have a lot of schoolwork tomorrow and things to get ready for Christmas Day. And it's Christmas Eve tomorrow. So I want to wish everybody, thank you, God. Merry Christmas. Happy holiday. Happy Boxing Day to those in the UK also for the 26th of December. And thank you for all of you who so generously gave the other night when I went live. That really did perk me up. I really appreciate it. For all the fantastic people who also have donated to the Buy Me a Coffin. And to Sharon S., I'm going to put this here on my sticky. Drop me an email. Let me know where you are. And we will get that Junebug Christmas card that we had made. And we will send that to the lucky winner. So thank you guys. It's been fantastic. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Happy Christmas down to our friends down under. Thank you, Angel, for coming in and moderating. That was fantastic. As you know, that probably Tim has been covered by Zachary Michael now. So I must have been on with something with Tim. So we can say that we were, and there's a lot of people been doing this for a while, but we can certainly say that we were one of the early channels to begin to make reaction around Sarasota Tim. There's a lot earlier than me, but I definitely feel like, all right, Junebug wants to get out for a walk. We were one of the other ones, the anti-pods. Yes. I was like, let me, yeah, those are the down under people. Anyway, yeah, baby girl is off, man. I got to get her taken care of. Merry Christmas, everybody. It's been so much fun. I love getting back out live. So thank you guys. Loving it. Bye.